Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Agents of Mace. We're following the heels of, or I guess on the heels. No, we're past it now. I don't know what the saying I'm trying to think of is, but Daredevil Wolverine has happened, and now we're back to the in between time where we don't have anything currently out other than Hitmonkey, which came out right before Deadpool and Wolverine. We'll get around to that eventually. But D23 happened, and we got a lot of fun information and news on Marvel Studios, as well as Marvel Disney stuff. Um,
hmm
there's been some talks about new rides and new attractions coming. We got to find out what some of them may be, as well as fun little things like Deadpool and Wolverine are now at Disneyland, and make some questionable jokes for it being at a Disney park, but it's all approved by Disney, so I think we're good. Um, so yeah, this intro will be shorter than the rest. So get in your Iron Man suit and turn on your TV to watch. I don't remember the news station that's in all the Marvel stuff, but watch them and let's talk about news. I'm Drew,
I'm Luke.
I'm Elisa.
and we are the Agents of Mace. We are here in 2024 looking ahead for not only the near future, but also the far future.
Not necessarily. I would say at least the next 2 years.
Yeah, I guess, yeah, far as 2 years seems far from me.
Yeah.
But I know years do go by fast.
Mm.
So we learned a lot of cool stuff. I don't know if we want to break these up into.
Well, I didn't know where you wanted to start because I think there was a little bit of carryover-ish on some things, but there was San Diego Comic-Con
Mhm.
had pretty massive announcement that we need to get into. And then D23 was pretty recent, which is so bizarre because they're so close together.
Right. And they're
Almost-
sort
Yeah.
of similar in the sense of like things that they announce.
Yeah, I wonder how, yeah, it's like how they pick and choose of what do they want to show. Because it seemed like SDCC was more around movie announcements.
Mhm.
And then D23 was a little bit more geared on the series coming to Disney Plus.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We can mix and mingle or however we want to dive into this.
I feel like it makes the most sense to do let's do live action movies and series, then we can do animated, then we can do general Marvel. Because I know there's some like video game news, there's some
Yeah.
Marvel Disney Park news. So that can be kind of like the tail end. But we'll start with the live action MCU, which I feel like is it's our bread and butter here at the Agents
Oh
of
yeah.
Mace. So
Well, we want to start with Captain America? Because I mean we started this whole series on Falcon and the Winter Soldier, so I feel
yeah,
like that would be a great place to
yeah,
start.
it's like full circle.
I've loved everything I've seen for this new Captain America movie. Uh, it feels a lot like the series.
Mhm.
And even with their announcements, they're saying, this is going to be a very ground level film. It's kind of, there's all the jokes about like Deadpool and Wolverine of like this is what's going to kind of reset everything. I feel more like this Captain America is what's going to reset everything.
Mhm.
We're kind of in this space of like, you know, are you Falcon? Are you Captain America? Like, who are you? Like, what is he trying to be? What does he want to be? And it seems like with Harrison Ford coming in, which he took stage at San Diego Comic Con, did his whole like Hulk growls and whatever for the audience. So you can tell he's having a blast with it. If you have not listened to any of the interview questions with him, they are hilarious because they are like going in deep into like comic books and Disney Plus series, and his responses are just top notch to all of them. They are very Harrison Ford. Um, but for everything that we've seen so far, like I'm really excited to check this one out. Just the whole like
Mhm.
cinematography, just the vibe, the few shots that we've gotten to see of Red Hulk.
Mhm.
I'm pretty excited for this.
I will say, because when we went and saw um Deadpool Wolverine, we
Mhm.
saw the like newer extended trailer. We didn't see the Comic-Con trailer, which like shows Red Hulk in like all his glory, but we did see the like a newer extended trailer. And I still don't understand why there's that shot of the White House like blowing up from the side. Very
Well,
clearly something has been digitally
yeah,
removed from that
yeah. Oh,
scene,
yeah, yeah, for sure.
whether it's Red Hulk or not. I feel like it's Red Hulk. I don't understand why they won't just leave it in. Why'd you digitally erase it if then you're going to show us Red Hulk anyway?
Maybe it's not Red Hulk.
I
Maybe
mean,
it's something else that's a big secret. Maybe it's probably Red Hulk, but
yeah, I just hope that it is a big secret and it's not just like, it was a missile and we just digitally removed it because.
Um, no, it's Red Hulk. I mean, from everything that they've shown, like, which I guess what's the extended trail? I don't know how many trailers they've released. Like, I know I've only seen one that's shown at the movie theaters. Um, I know something was shown at Comic-Con, which has only been described as you get a better visual of Red Hulk, which there's been an image that's leaked online from that
Mhm.
trailer. It's just like a different angle from like I think what we get to see in like the theatrical run right now.
Well,
To
you get to see him from the front.
from the front, yeah.
Yeah, so you like see his face. You can see
Hmm.
that they did the same thing that they did with Mark Ruffalo Hulk, where
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Red Hulk's face is modeled after Harrison Ford. I did read a
Yeah.
fun little thing that said the hair on Red Hulk's chest is directly modeled from like Indiana Jones era Harrison Ford's chest hair. And I was like,
Oh
wow, the
man.
attention to detail on Hulk's chest hair.
Oh my gosh. This just sounds like we've got this much more budget to work with. What can we do that's
Right.
individual hairs.
yeah.
I'm interested in what this movie is going to do because I agree. I definitely feel like Deadpool and Wolverine didn't really do anything to the MCU other
Hmm.
than make it money. Um,
Yeah.
But
but
that
like,
helps.
yeah,
Yeah.
it does help. It
Yeah.
definitely helps. But I feel
That's
like it
probably what
didn't.
they needed to
Right.
afford the Doctor Doom announcement.
Yeah.
Mhm. Please
So
support your local MCU.
Yeah.
I definitely agree though that Captain America seems like it's actually going to set the stage for like the next era of MCU movies,
Yeah.
especially because it seems a little more serious.
Has a
Doesn't
serious tone for
Yeah,
sure.
it
Yeah.
doesn't seem as like lighthearted and fun, which like I'm not against, but I do also enjoy I think that's part of Marvel's
Yeah.
magic is that they can
Hmm.
keep things a little lighthearted. I will say for any filmmakers or trailer editors or anyone that works at Marvel that's listening, don't put your trailer, don't add to your trailer a black and white flashing full screen. It is nauseating in a theater when
Mm,
it TikToks black and white, just like flashing in your eyes.
yeah.
And I thought it was okay. I don't have epilepsy, um, and I don't know anyone personally that has epilepsy. But I thought that it was ironic that that trailer played, and literally right after that trailer played, and before the movie started, it had the thing on the screen that was like, "Hey, this movie has flashing lights that may cause epilepsy." And I was like, "You should have played that before this trailer, because nothing in the Deadpool movie flashed on and off as bright as the the black and white text in the Captain America Brave New World trailer. So don't do that if you're a filmmaker. I guess we can kind of go step by step through these movies. I think the big news for Brave New World was just that they got to see Red Hulk.
Mhm.
Yeah. And we
We're-
know well, I guess the other two things is it's I haven't seen the verification on this, but they did talk with Tim Blake Nelson
Mhm.
about portraying the leader, and it sounds like that could be a role that we see again.
Mhm.
I don't know if it'll be in this movie or but it sounded like from the interview like it's going to be mentioned maybe in the movie, like the leader is like there. It's like the leader's part of this world that we're in.
Mhm.
Um which the thought I had earlier was the vibe that I'm probably gonna expect in this is like the Avengers don't seem like they're together right now, maybe. Like it's probably gonna be very dismantled. More villains are out there and they're trying to figure out like how do we like get our world back in order.
Mhm.
Um but Giancarlo Esposito, he's gonna be Sidewinder, which I thought was a pretty cool announcement.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm excited for them pulling in more characters because it did start to feel like
Mm-hmm.
why are we seeing the same like five people over and over and over and over? Like add
Yeah,
somebody new. So it is exciting that we're getting some new people. Um
for sure. I'm
Speaking of,
wondering,
oh, go
yeah,
ahead.
like well, I was gonna say like it sounds like there's going to be a layer of villains in this, so I'm curious to like how many will like lead into like a follow-up movie.
Mhm.
I'm banking like the leader would probably be the one that would be in the next movie.
Well, I mean, speaking of the next movie, it has to be the Thunderbolts. You
Oh
can't
yeah,
introduce Red Hulk, Thunderbolt Ross, and then not
right.
follow it up with
And not
Thunderbolts.
follow up with that.
Mhm.
I
Which
feel go ahead.
we still don't know what the asterisk means.
Yeah. I feel like the Thunderbolts news that came out of Comic-Con was more so just like solidifying that the cast, right? Like there had been
Right.
that picture floating around a long time that was like
Yeah.
a weird Photoshop of like all of these characters standing together. And it was like, this is the Thunderbolts. This is what the movie's going to be. And it seemed like the announcement was more just like, yeah, you guys are right.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
that is who is in this movie. Um,
More
there was
fan
a funny
service.
moment. Yeah, there was a funny moment where David Harbour came, like everyone got on stage and they're all, dressed how they dress normally. And then David Harbour came out of the crowd dressed in his Alexi
Mm-hmm.
costume
Mm-hmm.
and immediately saw them all and said, "Oh my God, you guys didn't dress up." I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah.
Um, I'm excited for this movie. I just I just want to know more about it. Like it's weird that they put the asterisks in the title and then
Mm-hmm.
they like pointed it out and they were like, "Yeah, Thunderbolts asterisk." And it's like,
Mm-hmm.
cool. But like are you telling me that the movie is going to be called Thunderbolts something? I don't know.
Yeah. Well, if they can hold on to this secret and hopefully it's something that like pays off, like
Yeah. I feel like
Maybe
um
it's just like the star in
mm,
NSYNC and it's just there for flair.
right. All
yeah.
right. Like
We'll find out right when the movie comes out. It doesn't mean
yeah.
anything.
Right. It's the points don't matter.
Did y'all see that where they kept asking different like members of the cast who their favorite cast member was or like who they thought was like doing the best when they wanted to work with what the most? And they were all like Florence Pugh, Florence Pugh,
Florence.
Florence
Yeah.
Pugh. And like you don't answer that question with anything other than I've really enjoyed getting to work with everybody and
Mm,
forming these relationships. But they're like, nope, it's Florence.
Nope, Florence. She's
yeah.
the one.
And I've really liked watching her work and everything.
Mhm.
And that she's like a big new thing in Hollywood. But I'm like, there are other people. Sebastian Stan is in this cast.
Yep.
Can no one say Sebastian?
No, Florence.
No, Florence. No, Florence. She was in Little Women. She gave us a nuanced Amy.
Oh
I
man.
have seen a clip from Thunderbolts
Ooh.
Oh.
How?
because everyone likes to share everything on social these days. That's the challenge. We've talked about it before. It's like I got to pick and choose when I want to actively get on Twitter or wherever. But I think film Twitter community as a whole has been a lot more active lately in terms of when something is finally coming out to theaters, like being more aggressive on don't spoil anything. But all of this stuff was like taken of like the trailers and clips shown at these events. But I gotta say, what I saw was pretty fun. And it's basically all of it. It's hard to tell. Like the vibe I got was like they're all kind of just getting together and they're like fighting each other. But it's
Probably
just kind of
classic.
like it's nothing new. Like there's plenty of movies out there where it's like a bunch of people stuck in one room and they're fighting each other and you know,
Sure, like
but
the
it's
first
just
Avengers movie.
yeah, exactly. Um, yeah, it's like it's probably what this is gonna be. It's gonna be like kind of like the first Avengers, but they're not really Avengers. They're kind of very ego driven out for themselves. But some of the new outfits we get to see are pretty freaking sweet.
I have seen a couple photos of some of their new costumes for the movie, and I do agree. I think
Yeah.
it's gonna be cool to see like they're not really the Dark Avengers, but like
Yeah.
a more morally gray area Avengers.
Right.
Well, to get to the next movie, we kind of are gonna end up talking about like the big reveal from MCU. But also, before we get into it, I just want to say, boy oh boy, have they shoved any notion that Kang will show up in anything as far down and away as possible. And it seems like some of these big announcements that they made, specifically the one that we'll probably talk about in a second, it almost felt like they could have held on to it longer, but they wanted to really squash the idea that we were going to continue the Kang story and instead be like, no, forget that happened. We're going a new direction now. Here's the new big bad. Fantastic Four, first steps. We now have seen, I wouldn't call it a trailer. It was like a teaser, but it
It's like
also
it's a solid teaser trailer.
yeah, but it felt like it was filmed specifically to be a teaser trailer. Like it felt
Yeah.
like this
It
stuff may
was.
not be in the movie at all. It was
Right.
just
Yeah.
for this.
They said they haven't started filming the movie whenever they
Mhm.
showed that. So they just got everybody together, took some fun footage in front of a
Yeah.
green screen, and slapped this little thing together for Comic
It's
Con, which it was cute. It was really
Yeah.
cute.
I think it's like it's like them finally like getting together and like let's get into that character. Let's get into your characters and they're just filming a bunch of random things.
Well, I liked watching Pedro Pascal being his like teacher for
Yeah.
fantastic science, and he was like
Yeah.
trying to tell them how cool science was, and none of the kids were reacting, and finally he was just like, fine, do you want to see something explode?
I
I
liked
was
that
like,
it made it look like he and Sue Storm are already together because
Mhm.
I didn't want it to drag out a romance between them. I wanted them to go ahead and start being the family.
mm-hmm.
Mhm. Mhm.
Well, yeah, I wonder what, what are their plans for the Fantastic Four? Because to my earlier comment about them getting rid of Kang, Doctor Doom is clearly the next like Marvel keystone villain because we have Fantastic Four, then we have Avengers Doomsday, then we have Avengers Secret Wars. Doctor Doom can and probably will be Well, I mean, he has to be in the first two. He probably will be in Secret Wars too. So
Mhm, mhm.
I I'm very excited that we have a solid direction now, because it felt like for a long time they just weren't sure what they were going to do because of everything that was going on. And it feels like now they finally settled on a direction to go. So,
I thought they said Kang wasn't over though.
well, yeah, I think they're going to have to eventually do Kang stuff again. I just meant more so like on the original timeline of MCU movie releases,
Yeah.
we were supposed to have the Avengers Kang Dynasty movie
Hmm.
sometime soon, and that movie has just not been brought up
They
like
dropped
anymore.
that one
Yeah, now they're
completely.
like Avengers Doomsday, and it was like, oh,
Like
okay,
how
so
is
like
now
where's
how
Scott
is
Lang right now? What is he
exactly what's
doing?
the Lang family? How are they gonna like respond to all of this?
Well, I mean, I guess technically Fantastic Four is set in the past, so
Hmm.
maybe we're going back in time. And
Yeah,
is
the
this a
vibe I'm getting,
different
it's like,
universe?
oh geez, like yeah, we're gonna go a whole like different universe and Doom. It'll just be like Doom just obliterated Kang. Like he's like, yeah, no Kang.
Yeah.
I knew him for 30 seconds. Don't
Yeah,
worry
I
about
got him.
him.
Don't worry, he's
Yeah.
gone. All right. Well,
um Now, so yeah, I am curious. Like, I think this could be kind of fun to see, but I don't know if either of you have watched any of the other promotional things around Fantastic Four, specifically with Joseph Quinn. There was like a last, like, it was either a photo shoot or an interview that they did on social, and he was in full Fantastic Four outfit. Um, and everyone else was just in their normal day-to-day clothes. So I'm curious if that'll be like a long-running joke when anytime they get together, like he'll be suited up.
what's crazy to me is like, unless they specifically told me I couldn't, if I got a role in a Marvel movie, you better believe I'm gonna do all of my press appearances dressed as my character.
Right?
There's 100, no way
Like
that I wouldn't.
if I was casted as the next Bruce Wayne Batman, better believe I'm Batman 24/7.
Yeah, like there's no way. And again, unless they were like, no, you're not allowed to wear your, you know,
Hmm.
$30,000 suit to this interview. No, you can't do it. I'd be like, okay, fine. I'll
It'd be a lot
hire a
easier.
cosplay artist to just make me one.
Yeah. I would rather have an outfit like that that is given to me and that
Hmm.
nobody's trying to judge me for an outfit that I put together, especially I don't understand Gen Z fashion rules.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I don't want to have to dress to impress when I could just dress like a superhero. Why not? Um, all right, let's talk about the biggest news probably from Comic-Con.
Hmm.
So,
I guess it's
natural, we'll go
two
ahead.
big things. There's
Yeah,
one leading up to one. I don't know which one were what were you gonna start with?
I was just going to start with casting.
Okay, I was gonna go Russo brothers.
Okay, well, we can do that first. I mean, that's important.
Terrific
Uh,
news.
yeah. Well, they're back. They got the Russo brothers will be back to direct the next two Avengers movies. I guess what are both of your thoughts around that? Do you think it's more of a smart choice for them to go back to the Russo brothers and bring them in, or the other side of it is do you view it as like kind of desperation of like we haven't had the best wins. We need to really kind of bring this back to where it was.
I think for me at least, it does seem like I don't know if it's like desperation, but
Like,
it does seem more of
does it
like
feel like
this
is it
worked before.
a
Maybe we
cry
could,
for help?
yeah, like maybe we can get people to come watch these movies if we bring back someone like a director that they're familiar with. And it's like, Yeah,
I mean, Avengers though, like it's gonna be sold out theaters. Like I
yeah,
don't know.
I think it's, we're in the age where comic book movies pretty much do well no matter what. It doesn't matter if they're good or bad, they do well in theaters and make a lot of money. So I'm fine with it. I don't know that I'm like ecstatic about it or freaking out about it. It's just kind of like, yeah, that's cool. Like I like their work. But then I think about people like James Cameron, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
Are there a lot of James Cameron movies that are really good? Yeah. Are there James Cameron movies that aren't good? Yeah. So it doesn't, I mean, it feels like more of a name grab than anything.
Yeah.
Like people are going to come see that, like, real film people are going to come see this movie because we've got the Russo brothers. It's like, well, I'm neat, I guess. I don't know. I'd probably, I mean, yeah, granted, I guess I'm not the key audience because I like Marvel. We do a Marvel podcast. Of course, I'm going to go see this movie, but
Well, it makes me wonder, like, what's the interview process to become a director for one of these movies?
I mean, I think for a while it was like, are you on the up and up right now? Come
Yeah.
do Marvel. I mean, it's the same with their casting for most of
Mm-hmm.
the like main characters in Marvel. It's like, are you popular right now? Want to be in a Marvel movie? You're in.
Terrific.
Yeah.
Like,
Like
why
that's
not?
kind of go ahead, Luke.
Well, no. Go ahead.
I was gonna say that that's kind of the problem whenever she got hired to direct the Loki show because like she was a fairly new director. She had basically just a British show, Sex Education, but since she was a young director that was kind of starting to make her name, she got like shortlisted as a possible director for the project. And so she just said that when she was given that opportunity, she went in hard. She said that it was supposed to be just kind of like a meet and greet, get to know you thing, but she put together like a full presentation because she really wanted to get the show. So I think it's probably something like that where they try to get new talented people that they can probably get, maybe fairly cheap,
Mm-hmm.
and then see what they grow into. And like with the Russo brothers in this case, I think it is a little bit familiarity. I think it is that they have a proven track record. But also, I can't really read it as desperate whenever you get really good filmmakers
Right.
to make your
Right.
movie. So I like them. I will forever be indebted to them for working. But of
Yeah.
course, also Infinity War and Endgame, of course. Um, so I think they're a good pick because they've got a lot of love for the franchise, and they did say they had a special connection with these specific stories.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, go for it, tear it up. I'm proud of you, BBs.
Nice.
Well, I
Yeah.
think
Well, I was just gonna say, like, I'm just kind of leaning into like why it's so difficult to get a director for Blade. It's like are are they wanting someone specific that's like on the up and up, or are they wanting new talent? When I think of like these, this kind of world, I always reflect on like Dan Trachtenberg. So I grew up with him from YouTube. Like where I know him is from like a regular YouTube series. Basically, three people doing exactly what we're doing, talking about this kind of stuff, things that they're interested in. And then he went on. He's directed an episode of The Boys. He's directed 10 Cloverfield Lane. He's now in the whole Predator franchise, and he's someone I'm like I don't know how like his height of popularity, but he's like someone I'll be like that would be ideal for like Blade, like someone that's just in this world and um hasn't really probably exploded as much as like Russo brothers, but he's like there, like this, like getting him on like Blade would probably be like awesome, like
Mhm.
really just push him to that next level.
I think part of it is probably like depending on what contracts they set up with these people. If you get hired as like you're going to direct Blade
Mm-hmm.
and then there's, 14 months of rewrites on the script, again, depending on what your contract says, you may not be getting paid for those 14 months. And it may be a situation where you're like, I can't sit around and do nothing. Like, I'm sorry, I have to back out and go work.
Right.
So it's possible that like stuff like that is happening. I think that there is like a Ryan Reynolds, I feel like was and even the Russo brothers are like good examples of like directors that are interested in the source material, not just interested in making a movie.
Mm-hmm.
And so they will fight for the movie to be what it needs to be to meet the source material. Where I think a problem that like DC has is a lot of their movies are made less worried about like how does this tie to the comics and more worried about, well, people like superhero movies, so let's make a superhero movie. Same with Sony does the same thing where they're just like, we just got to pump out a superhero movie. People like superhero movies, and it's like, well, yeah, we like superhero movies, but we want them to be good still. Like, we want them to, especially as a comic book fan too, I want my superhero movie to relate to the comic book in some way. I don't want it to just be some weird made up story where you just took a character's name and powers and then made a completely new story about it.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that, that could also play into like them trying to find the one person that's like, I'm interested in Blade and I want to do Blade justice. Who knows? Speaking of the Russo brothers being back, and I think I agree with how you phrased it, Elisa. Where like, I don't think it's desperation. They are good at what they do. I personally still think it's like a name thing. And I feel like that is the exact same thing that's happening with the next news, which is we were introduced to who is going to be playing Doctor Doom. And the weirdest surprise of all, it's Robert Downey Jr. And I don't understand. I don't understand why he would leave the MCU being Iron Man, because he didn't want to have to keep doing all these movies and this like huge franchise and be this character forever, and then came back to the MCU as one of the like biggest constant villains in Marvel. Clearly just putting yourself in the situation where you're going to have to keep coming back and being in all these movies again. It's so weird to me. I just don't understand what is happening. Also, I really like Robert Downey Jr. I think he's a good actor. I think much like Ryan Reynolds, he does one character. He does one character really well, but he does one character. And that character is not Doctor Doom. I will be very interested to see how he plays Doctor Doom.
Agree.
Because if it's like snarky, quick-witted Doctor Doom, like no.
I was reading early on when they're starting. This is like start of Iron Man or maybe pre-Iron Man. Believe this was the role they were originally eyeing him for, which I thought was interesting. So I don't know if it was just kind of owed to that, or did he actually, was there an actual audition that just blew them away? Because this was rumored online. Like, this is one of those rumors that did come true. There was a lot of news circulating leading up to SDCC that he was going to be announced. Cillian Murphy was also up for the role, and that's the actor I was aiming for. I was hoping Cillian would get into the Marvel world as Doctor Doom. But yeah, I'm very curious to see if we'll get more story around what all happened there.
I was gonna say that there was some story arc that had Tony Stark and Doctor Doom switch as young men, And so I'm kind of wondering if maybe that's what's actually happened. Is that this isn't just like a Doctor Doom in another universe that might be like a Tony Stark gone bad. I wonder if it's genuinely there's an actual actor out there, maybe Cillian Murphy, who's the
Mm,
real Doctor Doom, and this one that they've announced is Tony Stark as possessed by Doctor Doom, and there might be some
gotcha.
sort of switcheroo.
That would be
I did not.
wild.
That would be wild. Uh, now I want to go look that story up. I did see the Iron Maniac storyline, so that's the one I was initially leaning that they were going with. But I like that one. That would be cool.
Yeah, and don't quote me on that. I read that on the internet.
It is a
Well,
series. I have read that one. I'm trying to
the
remember what it was
which
called.
one? The
It was
one where
in
they flip?
Yeah,
Where
it's an Iron Man comic.
okay.
Um, and I think it's like a what ify kind of story. Yeah, what if Iron Man it was just called What If Iron Man Demon in an
Uh,
Armor.
oh, they're
And
gonna pull a what if on us.
it's yeah, Tony Stark is Doctor Doom. That would be wild.
To your note, Drew, on like how you, like with the kind of vibe, like the character that Robert Downey usually portrays. Now I'm just seeing like he's standing there on stage with his sunglasses and his arms out, and he's probably just thinking, he's like, if y'all only knew what I knew.
Well, even his sunglasses, he's I get he's Robert Downey Jr., so
Yeah.
that's just how he dresses. But when he pulled off the mask and he has these like green tinted Iron Man Tony Stark sunglasses on, I was like, you even are still dressed like Tony Stark.
Yeah. Well,
Like,
he didn't have him on initially.
yeah,
Like
yeah, that's right. He
he
put
kind
him
of
on.
stood up there and he basked in that glory for a good 45 seconds and then threw the shades on, and I was like, that's Iron Man. What are you talking like?
Yeah,
That's not Doctor
yeah.
Doom.
So that was interesting, interesting
I,
news, but
I guess that could be an episode question, listeners. What do you think will be the story that they're going with? Do you think Robert Downey Jr. is going to be Doctor Doom, or is this going to be some kind of ploy that it is Iron Man,
I
taken
mean,
over by Doctor Doom?
Elisa, you have completely like taken me to a new level of hype for something that I don't even know if is true. And I'm gonna be really upset when I go see this movie and that's not what's happening, and he's just Doctor Doom. But I'm 100% gonna tell everyone I know and be like, yo, oh my gosh, you have to listen to our podcast.
All
Because
right.
Elisa told us that she saw that it might be Iron Man, and now I'm all in.
Mm.
Completely sold on it. Well, we're, running out of time, so I was thinking maybe we just stick to movies this episode, and we can do maybe another news update episode. We can talk about the other stuff because we
Yeah.
haven't even gotten to D23 news, where, you know, I don't know that there was anything quite as big as the Doctor Doom reveal. Um, But we did get to see a fun little clip from the stars of the Fantastic Four. They are actually finally filming in the United Kingdom, but they sent a little message from set. You can find that online. Um, that was kind of cool just to see them all. Also, if you haven't watched The Bear, go watch The Bear. It's really
Oh
good.
yeah.
I keep
Fantastic.
forgetting that the one guy is going to be the Thing and
Mhm.
he's from The Bear. I just keep forgetting, and then I see
Yeah.
him, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, he's in The Bear.
Yeah. Love it.
Next big news: Disney Plus series Ironheart. We're gonna be back with Riri Williams. I again don't really know how the timeline is gonna work. Like, is this series going to be directly after Wakanda Forever, or will it be closer to current time?
I watched the trailer. Did you watch the trailer? Either of you?
Oh, I didn't even know there was a trailer. I thought it was just announced.
Well, it's no, the trailer that they showed at D23 was leaked.
Oh,
The only trailer I believe that's officially been sent out is for Agatha All Along.
mhm.
But I did watch the trailer, and yeah, it is difficult to tell where this is actually going to take place. Uh seems to be still at the school, so it almost seems like this is going to be after Wakanda
Mhm.
Forever. But
I mean, I
I
feel like it
did,
would have to be because it would.
yeah.
What would be the point of showing before that?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm excited. I'm really hopeful that we're gonna get like a Young Avengers thing going soon. And this is just another step forward. We got the little teaser thing at the end of the Marvels where Kamala goes and finds
Mm-hmm.
Kate Bishop and is like, I'm putting together a team. And it's like, okay, here's one. Like 2 years later, here's two. So
It's like let's pick up the pace.
yeah, let's put
You've
this
already
team
told, you've
together.
already shown us, like, we know what's about to happen. Let's just make it happen.
Speaking of heroes in New York, next thing, Daredevil Born Again. We all knew that it was coming. We were just waiting for it. But they pull the cast up there who are going to be reprising the roles, and I knew that John Bernthal was going to come back as the Punisher
Mm-hmm.
eventually, but I thought that he was going to come back as the Punisher because there was like a rumor that they were going to do another Punisher series, but he came up with everyone for Daredevil Born Again. So,
Uh, Pretty sure they're also doing the Punisher series.
well, yeah, but I thought, based on the last season, or I guess the only season of the Netflix, The Punisher, it's set like
Mm.
after Daredevil, and then he kind of wraps his story up, and you think
Mm-hmm.
that like maybe he's moving somewhere else, but this seems like, oh, he's not. He's clearly
Still there.
still there working against. We don't know the story, but he's still there with Daredevil.
Yeah.
So that's cool. Super excited about that. Hopefully we get like a little She-Hulk reference in there. Um,
The stuff that I've seen for it looks really awesome.
I really like there's a poster, I think, of like all the different Daredevil like not hoods, cowls, whatever you call them.
Oh, yeah. He's
Uh,
when he goes to it's like Batman. Like he goes to his room and he's got all the different
yeah,
outfits.
and they're just
Yeah.
all like on a desk, and then his
Yeah.
little like bully sticks are on there. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
that's cool. I like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, Finally, the big MCU live action news wasn't really news, but it was really exciting, and I think it was probably my favorite thing that happened at D23, which was Agatha All Along did like a musical number.
Mm-hmm.
They came up and sang an original song called "The Ballad of the Witch's Road," that was written for the show. Really cool, and immediately made me think like, wait a second, is this show gonna have musical moments?
Hopefully.
I'm in. I'm 100% in. I just we've only seen like bare bones teaser material for Agatha All Along, and it seems more spooky than anything. But if they add a little like song and dance to it and then spit this out around Halloween, this may be
Oh
like a
yeah.
new
That's like,
must-watch Halloween series.
yeah.
So I'm super excited. There is a new trailer. I didn't get to see the new trailer. So I need to find that somewhere. I'm sure someone has leaked it.
It's fun. No,
Um,
the Agatha All Along.
yeah.
Yeah, it should be officially out, I believe.
Okay. Then
I
then
believe
I
it
just
is.
need
I
to
believe
find
that's
that.
the only one because that one's coming out this year. That series is coming out this year.
No, I can't wait. I'm very
There
excited.
is because there is a Daredevil trailer leaked you could find, which within that there is a surprise guest appearance from a whole nother series.
Oh,
I don't know if you saw any of that news. Do we want to talk about it or just
yeah, sure. Really quick. Yeah.
so Kamala Khan's father is going to be in that series. The question is why? Like what's going on?
Ooh.
Like that's
Hmm.
seems pretty cool whatever they're cooking up.
you know, they're doing a lot of stuff, doing a
Mhm.
lot of stuff out there in the Marvel universe. I hope that I hope it doesn't slow down. I am on board with them taking things a little slower to make sure that things are
Yeah.
good, but
Well, if they can be consistent at like whatever they say they're gonna do, if it's gonna be 2 movies a year and so many TV series, and that's it, that's what we're gonna try to release per year, I'm fine
mhm.
with that. As long as they're keeping to that, so they can, if they want to try to focus on, the quality and the stories that they're sharing, that they're creating, and
Oh boy. I Talking about Marvel news is really hard for me because it just makes me so excited, and then I have to like have this realization that like, oh yeah, this stuff is coming out in
yeah,
the end of next year. I have so long
I
to
know.
wait.
Well, it was, I don't know. We've talked about a lot of stuff. And there's still more that we could talk about.
Yeah.
Um, anything else well, I guess if we wanted to if we're wanting to focus on just the live action stuff, do we want to close out with thoughts on the new Craven trailer?
Yeah, my thoughts are still unimpressed. Still, just put the movie out already. Like, I don't understand what we're waiting for. It's not gonna do well. Why are we holding on to it like it's gonna do well?
I mean, it looks entertaining. I've got to say, like it's I don't know, there's something about it. I'm like, okay, that it just seems like it's gonna be just a fun watch, but
Yeah.
doesn't really mean much beyond that. Like, I'm not super impressed at all with Rhino's current look. It's one of those things of like, is that still in kind of editing mode? Like, is this what we're actually going to see? Or are they still working on it?
Right. Yeah. I I don't know. I guess I don't know. I'm unimpressed.
It also seemed like with the new trailer gives a little bit too much away in terms of like, it's one of those like, feels like they showed so much of the movie.
hmm well, let's do our question from last week. Um, this is the first time I feel like in a very long time that I'm in front of the right computer with the right question saved.
Nice.
But our question from last week was, which Marvel character would you like to see in the new MCU? And if you want, you can fan cast who you would like to see play that character. Um, Mine, the fan cast was a little hard just because I don't know how tall she is. Um, and also I can't remember who plays X-23.
Her name is Daphne
Yes,
Hmm.
Keene.
Daphne Keene. So I really want Honey Badger. I recognize that it's going to be impossible to do because
I mean,
technically Honey Badger is a younger clone of X-23. So
it was, how many times was it said in Deadpool and Wolverine? He said Honey Badger at least 3 or 4 times.
yeah, believe me, I was so excited because I kept thinking that they were teasing that she was going to show up and she never did.
Mhm.
Um, but she is a clone of X-23, a younger clone. So I thought for sure like that's the character I want to see, but there's no way that they would be able to do it without doing some weird CG thing. So my fan cast was going to be Mackenzie Foy. Um, but I think she might be just as tall as Daphne Keene, so that wouldn't work. So the fan casting was hard because really it should be Daphne Keene, but like from 6 years ago. So
Where was the foresight?
exactly, they should have just filmed all those scenes already. But yeah, that's my hope.
Now this is characters we want to see in the new what?
Just in the new Marvel Universe era.
Hmm.
Hmm.
I mean, I would really love to see Blade. If we can ever get that, whether it be Mahershala Ali or someone else.
Well, Ryan Reynolds is talking with people trying to get another Wesley Snipes Blade movie made.
Mhm.
As weird as that would be. This shoehorn here at the end.
I'm still stuck on the Cavalry.
Yeah,
I'll
I
just go with
mean,
that. Give us the Cavalry and give the people what they want. Put some respect on Henry Cavill's name.
it would be interesting if he came in as like, here we are. We've talked about it for so long. We, the general, X-Men fan base, about
Mhm.
how Hugh Jackman was too tall to play Wolverine. And then they hit us with Henry Cavill as Wolverine, who's just as tall.
Like, okay, now my new vision, as I've just seen it, is that it would be like if y'all have ever watched Adventure Time, like the Fiona and Cake episodes where it's just like the Ice King's like fanfic that he's writing of Fiona and Cake. But instead it's like a crazy internet person like me. It's just like, no, you guys are gonna be so cool. It's like, okay, so the cavalry, he's gonna go to I'll watch the movie. It would be
Yeah.
non-canonical with no consequences. It would just be a fun time for Henry Cavill.
Yeah, I'd watch it.
Mhm.
I'd 100% watch it. As long as every time he pops his claws, he has to do that arm reload thing that he does.
Yes,
That's how he
to-
gets them out. Yeah.
That's how they work. They don't work without that.
Well, thank you all for listening this week. You'll have to join us next week because we'll talk about the rest of the news. But there's just, we're just so excited about the live action stuff. The animated stuff is cool too, but I'm very excited about some of these live action things. So thank you all for listening. We'll see you all next time.
Bye.